the Mavericks bags, they looked like they were packed as they were on the court yesterday. Game 1 versus the Celtics. Kristaps Porzingis came off the bench. Dude had 20 points in about 21 minutes. It was wild. So it made us question our predictions from yesterday's show. Take a listen. I'm from Dallas, so my prediction should be very simple. Mavericks in 6.
I'm going Mavs in 7.
Okay. Ooh.
I'm Mavs in 6 with you.
I can't all do Mavs, though. The favorite is the Celtics.
That's what my paper say.
The ring ceremony for the Mavericks is going to be in Boston in Game 7.
Game 7.
Oh, Game 7 too.
I said 6 games. James Jones said 6 games. Joy Taylor, Shady McCoy, they each say 7 games. Either way, we are all picking the Mavericks here at the desk, but it did not look pretty for our picks yesterday. So, Shady, the question is this as we get going in this jam-packed show. Should we already be nervous about our finals predictions?
Nah. We shouldn't trip too much. Missed Game 1. We've seen the Mavs lose Game 1.
A lot.
It's the Game 2 you got to worry about. If they don't win Game 2, it's an issue. If you look at this Jason Kidd, right, he's 1-6 in the Game 1 with the Mavs, right? So that should let you know he's the head coach of the Mavericks, and they don't win Game 1.
That's
right?
true.
You can see Kyrie Irving, he didn't play up to his standards we're used to seeing. Even the whole team, like even the supporting cast, they didn't show up. And then Luka, even though he had some numbers, but overall, I didn't think he played really well. And I know that we're going to see a different Luka. We're going to see a different Kyrie Game 2.
So you're a 0 nervous on the nervous meter that the audience was looking at.
Zero. Yeah.
Brother, I think Shady missed the whole cool graphic thing. Can y'all do Shady's again? Just so Shady can watch it.
Space sound.
It was kind of creative. I just want y'all to hear this.
I'm at 0.
Shady's
I'm
at 0?
Yeah. You know what? You guys are better with like being creative. Like you guys like Michael Jackson, stuff like that. Like, you know, so you're a little more creative.
Off-camera.
A little more creative than I am.
That was an off-camera
Go
joke.
follow Speak on FS1 and find out what Shady's talking about.
I am a little more nervous, but rightfully so. I picked the Mavs in 6 games. So I think if you pick the Mavs in 6, like myself, there is nervousness. I'm about a 3.5 out of 10. That is where my nerves and anxiety fall in large part because if the Mavs lose again, which wouldn't be unpredictable, if they lose again to Boston next game, they got to win 4 straight for the Mavs to win in 6. In what world are the Dallas Mavericks about to beat the Boston Celtics 4 consecutive times? I will talk a little bit more about why I am nervous, but I'm nervous about 3.5 out of 10. Joy Taylor, you got the Mavs in 7. Where do you stand?
Not me and Shady's standing on business. It's a 0. 0. What did I say as soon as the show ended yesterday?
They're going to lose.
Celtics win Game 1. You did say that.
I did say that, and I didn't say it on air, so you're going to have to take the guy's word for me for it, but that's a 0. First of all, I said they were going to win in 7, so they got to lose some games for my predictions to be correct. And it's Game 1. In order for that math to math, they're going to take some L's. And Game 1 in Boston seems like an appropriate L to take. Now, look, we can get into, and we will get into how they lost, but the fact that they lost is not surprising, especially because it's Dallas. Dallas, over the past 2 playoff runs, they have only won Game 1. One Game 1. They went on to win 5 of those 6 series over that span. And when losing Game 1, they've won 4 of the 5 previous series over that span. So they don't like to get Game 1. That's not their thing. It's not what they're interested in doing. Now, obviously, you would feel better about it. Your nervous meter would be lower. But let's be honest. Even if they did play a much closer game and they were able to steal Game 1, that would have been a bigger surprise, I think, than the way that they played last night and the blowout, the way that it was. I think that this was an appropriate way to start this series, honestly. Boston is a really good team. We know that they have a better roster. We talked about it yesterday. They were at home. It's a very intense environment up there. So, no, I'm not nervous at all. Like I said, in order for my prediction to be correct, they'd have to lose some, and Game 1 in Boston seems appropriate.
James, I am dying to know, sir, where are you with the nervous meter after picking the Mavericks in 6?
It's crazy how we all watch the games different. I love it. I'm nervous, and my nervousness is a 10. And I know, Joy, you're right. For my prediction to be correct, they got to lose some games too, but Mike Tyson said it best, right? Everybody has a plan until they get hit, right? So let's just go to the regular season. The regular season we play, and it's before the trade deadline, and you beat me down. Cool, all right, that's all good. Took the first punch, boom. Second time we play is after the trade deadline. Oh, watch what we got for them now. After the trade deadline, we're ready to roll. You get beat by 20-something. Then you come into the third game, and you like, we rolling now. We in a rhythm now, right? Trade deadline over. We done beat some really good teams in the playoff. Watch, and you lose by 20+ again. Now you in the corner and your trainer saying, I'm about to throw this towel in. This is like 3 rounds, you're getting beat down. Like, wake up, do you want to fight? Because in 3 games, we ain't seen the Dallas Mavericks fight. And then when we did see them fight, the Stars have phenomenal games. And you still lost by double digits. Then you come into last night, and yes, your Stars didn't play as good, but you got beat down. And what I seen was they do not have the depth the Celtics got. Can they match up with the Celtics? It does not look like it. I am nervous, and it's out of 10.
This is now transitioning then to my favorite question. Obviously, the night before the show, try to figure out the questions for you all at home, the questions for us at the desk, and working with one of the producers, Colvin, he asked me, he said, was it a bad game or a bad sign? And I was like, oh, that's a good one. I hadn't heard a question like that. Was it a bad game? Was it just a fluky bad game for the Mavericks, or was it a bad sign for the Mavericks? Joy, I think it was a bad sign. Because what the Celtics did last night, they continuously do. The Celtics are the only team in the history of the National Basketball Association with 8 players to have 100 made threes during the course of the regular season. They did it this year. They did it last year. Well, cut to last night's game, they had 7 players make multiple threes in the game. What the Celtics did last night, they do throughout the course of the season. We were talking about it in preparation for the show. Now, Kristaps doesn't usually have 20 points in 21 minutes, but he does average 20 points on usual during the course of his career. Jason Tatum didn't play a phenomenal game, but the Celtics have so much depth. They have 5 players capable of being one of the 3 best players on the basketball court. And in order for the Dallas Mavericks to win, they need 2 players to be in the 3 best players on the basketball court, Luka and Kyrie. Meanwhile, Drew Holiday could be one of the top 3 players. Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown could be one of the top 2 players. Kristaps could be one of the top 3 players. Hell, Derek White could jump in there and be one of the top 3 players on any given night in this series. So what the Celtics did last night, Joy, I believe they've done throughout the last 780, 90 days, if you will, last 2 seasons, 810 days, so pardon my math. So, Joy, where do you stand? Bad game or bad sign?
I think it's a bad game. I understand you getting a little panicky, a little nervous. And listen, Porzingis had a game of his life. He looked amazing. They had no answer for him. He came right on the court and got busy immediately. But they did make a push. They did get back in it in the 3rd quarter. And had Kyrie potentially had a better game or caught fire, maybe this game goes a little bit differently. Maybe maybe Boston starts playing a little bit differently. Maybe they start making mistakes. But they never really got nervous, right? Like Luka started he gave a little look to the crowd, and then they settled everything back down. I think that the Mavs are better than what happened last night. I don't think that Porzingis is going to have that type of performance again. Now, again, he averages 20.1 points per game during the regular season. Before he got injured in the postseason, he was averaging 12.3 points, but he did have two 18-point games against Miami before he got injured. So he is able to contribute. But the question is really the depth, right? Like, they have a lot of players that can catch fire at any given moment. And during championship runs, as much as we focus on the Stars, we did this yesterday, the Stars you're expecting to perform every night, but we know every championship run has a story woven in it of a role player that steps up, or multiple role players that step up big throughout the course of the series. So the Mavs are going to need that as well. The Mavs have to have someone step up if Kyrie doesn't have a big game. But I think that Kyrie will have another big game. I think they will have it's going to be a long series. So I don't think this is a bad sign. I think it was a bad game.
I want to go bad game. I do.
Well,
but I think
this is a bad sign if you're saying
this is a bad sign. This is a bad sign because as I was watching the game last night, everything came easy to Boston. Jaylen Brown going to the basket. I'm either going to try to finish or I'm going to make the right pass. Everything looked extremely hard for the Dallas Mavericks. It was either Luka trying to go 1-on-5, Kyrie trying to go 1-on-5. The role players did not step up. And I was watching the game like the Celtics just have too much. It's too easy. At any given moment, these dudes are knocking down shots or they are making the right play. They have 2 guys that can make the right play on the Mavs.
James, it's gonna be all right. It's okay.
It ain't.
It is. It's all right.
It ain't.
I'm getting nervous. Like, are you all right?
I don't know. I mean, this is 3 beatdowns. We've seen y'all 3 times.
Okay, but it's only 1 game this series. Don't worry about the regular season.
Yeah, I ain't going with the 3 beatdowns what James is talking about, but I am. It's a sign for me too, James. Right? My sign is more of this on some basketball level though. So if you really watch the game, right? You can see instantly you can see the talent difference, right? You can look at the Celtics talent, and you look at the map, you can see the biggest difference in the talent. And then you see the roster, right? Even Al Horford, like off the rip, we talk about Porzingis, but Al Horford got it popping early, right? 3-ball, layup, right? Where his point prop was like 7 points. How do I know that? Anyway, so when you really watch the game, for the Mavs to beat a more talented team, more talented roster, two things has to happen. One, either Kyrie Irving and Luka have to play phenomenal basketball where they're dominating, right? Got to be the best players on the court. Or the times when the Celtics beat themselves, they shoot too many 3-balls, right? Now, last night, everything went well. Everybody shoot threes. They fade away 3-balls. Everybody hitting them. Starters, backups. It's not always going to be like that. The things I did see that makes me a sign of concern is they didn't help out with Luka. They didn't do no double teams. They played one-on-one basketball, right? And they switched, right? On the pick and roll, we're going to switch it out. So now you're not giving guys like confidence like P.J. Washington, right? Derrick Jones, where they get open 3-balls. There was none of that. There was no helping. Another thing is you watch Kyrie Irving, they didn't double team him.
Yeah.
Play one-on-one defense, one-on-one basketball. And that's scary because if your role players can't get involved, then what happens? Another issue I've seen is on Luka. If you really watch on defense, when the Mavs on defense, they made Luka play defense the whole game, right? So hold on, I'm not done the pick and roll game. So when you watch the Celtics, instead of going to all the main stars to score, nah. It's your turn. It's your turn. I seen Drew Holiday go at Luka a couple times. So now you make him work on offense. You have to put all these points up, all these shots up. And then on defense, you make him guard. And the last point I want to make is, when the last time you seen Luka getting stripped at half court?
Yeah.
Right? If you look, they had the Mavs at 18 points off for 11 turnovers. Right? So they scoring. So now we get this big lead. Where's the big lead come from? Everyone wants to say the 3-ball. A lot of it was turnovers. A lot of it was steals and all that. So we look at this whole game, it's like, yo, they're making Luka use so much energy. And to put a star next to it, you know he's banged up with the knee injury. So all that.
So that's not going to change. What do the Mavs do?
Well, they're going to play better, though. I mean, I just think...
They'll shoot a little better.
No, what I'm saying is for them to win these games against Boston, you need your stars to play a lot better than they did. And I think they will, because Joy talked about it. In the third quarter, they did come back. And if you down by so many points, you got to waste so much energy to get it back. So let's say you start like that from tip-off. Yeah. It's going to be a better game.
You talk the X's and O's of it. Y'all know me. I like the psychology of it. Studied psychology for my master's, and what I noticed was this moment, if y'all remember it, it was Jaylen Brown was shooting at the free throw line. The Mavericks waved the white flag. They was like, yo, we done. They took Kyrie out. They took Luka out of the game. They said, we done. Yeah. Watch Drew Holiday, family, the only champion on the basketball court for the Celtics. When the Mavs check out and wave the white flag, Drew Holiday looks to his teammates, and he says, let's go, right now. Keep going. I'm like, bro, the game is over. It's a 25-point game with 5 minutes left. The Mavs just took out Kyrie. They took out Luka. The old Celtics team, I remember I watched Kenny the Jet Smith. He's one of my favorite basketball analysts. Don't know how y'all feel about him. I watched him post-game, and he said, the Mavericks this series remind him of the Celtics in the finals 2 years ago. Just game one, obviously. But he's like, remember the Celtics in the finals 2 years ago? They're going up against the Warriors. Warriors always there every year. Warriors not fazed by nothing. When I watched the Celtics versus the Mavs, the moment I saw Drew Holiday in that moment, like, you smelled blood in the water. Everybody else usually exhales. You know Jason Tatum. He probably chilling like, oh, we won the game. Drew Holiday like, nah, put on the gas. So I was like, yeah, that's championship mindset. I know a mindset of a champion when I see one. That was championship mindset.
Yeah, I mean, Kyrie's a champion, too, when he was walking off the court. So he knows what it takes to win a championship as well. I hear you. Listen, I love Drew. I said Drew is going to be the key to this finals. I think it's one game. I think it's one game, game one in Boston on the road. Luka's banged up. Porzingis was unreal. He's back. It's a new influx of energy. Everyone gets hype. Okay, he's hitting everything. It brings everything up. The building is higher. I think it's okay. I don't know if everyone's going to hit all those shots next game. I don't know if Kyrie isn't going to have the same type of game that he had in this. I don't know if they're going to get so far behind. To Shady's point, if we're going back and forth the whole game, how does this game end? Because you've got one of the best closers who ever play the game in Kyrie.
Joy, let me ask you this, though, because we all agreed yesterday the Celtics are the better team.
Yes.
Roster-wise, so how in the world, like, we all picked the Mavericks to win, but the Celtics are the better team. So in theory, I agree with you, because I picked the Mavericks to win even more fervently than you. But what would it take for the Mavericks to win? Because the Celtics didn't shoot great.
Well, we all picked the Mavericks, so we can all give our reasons why the Mavericks would win.
Early, they did.
They did shoot great early.
Luka and Kyrie are going to have great games every single game. Your stars have to perform, period. If you're going up against a team that has a better roster, then your top two guys have to be great every single time. The other part is they're going to have to find ways to play defense and neutralize what Boston does well. They're going to have to cut down on the mistakes because Boston is a great team, and they are going to take advantage of the mistakes that you make. You got to cut down on the mistakes. Luka and Kyrie have to be great every single night, and a role player is going to have to step up and hit some shots.
That's it right there. I don't know who it's going to come from, but the role players have to step up. Two people are not about to beat the Boston Celtics. I mean, the best player on the Boston Celtics last night came off the bench.
True.
Like, two dudes are not going to beat them. Them other guys are going to have to help if you're going to have a chance in this series.
It's game one.
I know.
Right? And I'm gonna say that. And another thing is, like, can we not act like we don't know who the Celtics been the last couple of years? They've been had the best roster in basketball. Have they not? And what have they done? They've been choking. So I know we want to sit up here and have the pom-poms green and white, but we got to make sure we watch every game because we've seen the Celtics do this before. Did we not? We seen them.
But are they different?
Ain't no different. They got to finish. We always do that. We always give them credit until they don't play. Then it's like, oh, what happened to them?
Speaking on every game, I know Joy don't like this game. 2 must win.
James, you gotta relax.
I mean, going back to the crib, 0-2.
You gotta relax.
Ain't no
what
good
they say,
time.
the series doesn't start until what?
So away team wins. Hey, real quick, did y'all peep this though? Because we keep talking about whose team it is and all that. You see who the player was, right? JB. And last one, after the game, Acho, he showed a little video of Drew Holiday. He was a starter in there.
Yep.
Who else was in there that was starting? JT was in there, trying to give him his points. You got to look at this stuff.
That's the Batman in you.
I'm saying JB getting all his points, all the love, right? And the main star. Hey, JB, come out. Hey, Tatum, get your points.
A couple extra threes, huh?
Come on, y'all got to see that.
Subscribe here to get the latest from Speak, and go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.